Alright, hello everybody, this is Demon coming back for another round of Final Fantasy XIV's Endwalker. So, this will be the intro that I'm using for it for a while, guys, just because I'm probably going to be playing this straight and probably won't have time to do intros and outros. So, I hope everybody here enjoys, and thank you for watching this, and let's go ahead and start it right up. Alright guys, so we're back for another round. So we ended last episode. We've defeated Zodiark, aka we defeated Fantasy with Zodiark. Fantasy ended up doing what he wanted in the end. He ended his own life. But unfortunately, as he did that, he also ended Zodiark, the one thing that was keeping everything together, and stopped the final days. Now the final days are upon us, and as Emmett Silk said, what would you be able to convert this or avert this catastrophe if you were in the same situation as us? So now I guess the test is, can we? I'm going to go ahead and repair my gear. It's all been pretty heavily damaged as fighting was going on. So let's go ahead and talk to your Stoll and see what she has to add. Pray and review the records on the upper floors. I'll see if there's aught to be learned from down here. I am beyond... Why are there carrots on the moon? The better question is not why are there carrots on the moon. The better question is why are we able to breathe on the moon? Oh wait, we just passed Anchor on top. Thankfully. Zodiark defeated. While he may have been in an incomplete state, that's nevertheless an impressive feat. If you hadn't, his demise was inevitable. Fantasy would have seen it to one way or another. That said, he probably would have wielded Zodiark's power to wreak untold destruction before taking his own life, making us the better of two unfavorable outcomes. True enough. I thought maybe they were just going to have it where he got captured down there. Dost thou suppose our host hath maintained his solitary vigil since the very beginning, without rest or relief? If so, these records comprise the sum total of his existence. We must needs handle them with care. I know. I want to know what this guy was doing. What'd you do this whole time? I've been bored out of my mind. Just like, yeah, just keep control of this. It's just like by the end, I just want to off myself. Lol. As you gaze into the crystal, ancient knowledge of Zodiark flows through your mind. Daily summary. No abnormalities detected. No abnormalities detected. No abnormalities detected. The spirits be wrecked for a long, lonely vigil on the moon, dating back to the beginning of Zodiark's imprisonment. Alright, we're gonna sprint now. Alright, let's look. Which one of these started registering in the calamities? Gain knowledge of past calamities flow through your mind. The records describe how, with each rejoining, Zodiark's search for freedom grew, as did the strain on the brands. Maintaining Zodiark's imprisonment appears to tax Hydaelyn greatly. Well, now that we're no longer maintaining it and it's only Hydaelyn left, what happens? As you gain knowledge of the past rejoinings flows through your mind. The records describe the Watcher's efforts to prepare in the event to break free from his prison. Records go on to describe maintenance carried out regularly with Leopards, though it's not clear who or what they are. I'm very curious on how this is going to work. So you gaze into the crystal record, flash right, record shows the Watcher's musings when Elidibus is spotted on the moon, though clearly not for the first time. If it's clear and Indian is brought have a keen interest in freeing Zodiark from his prison, and yet they have made no attempt to destroy the brands, perhaps they prefer he remain hidden from mortal eyes until the final rejoining. Perhaps they realize we would never dare bring harm to Zodiark so long as he remains imprisoned. Yeah, because if you destroy him, that's the final days. So, I don't know. He's needed, but he wasn't. Did you learn anything of import? Yeah, everything's crazy. So it is as we expected. Maintaining brands requires a great deal of her energy and focus, and this cost has grown higher with every rejoining. That would explain why contact with her has become rather infrequent since the Seventh Umbral Calamity. I too made a rather startling discovery. This heavenly body we know to be the moon was in fact created by Hydaelyn. When the Watcher said he was created together with this place, I thought he only meant this facility. Truly, Hydaelyn's power is far beyond anything I could have imagined. I thank you for affording me this short reprieve.
It is we who should thank you. The records stored here are nothing short of extraordinary. There is much we could learn of Zodiac and his imprisonment, but perhaps you could offer us more focused guidance. Pray, tell us of the calamity that came before and comes now again.
Long ago. Oh god. Alright, now I can. Long ago, before the Great Sundering, there was but a single world, Therius. One day, from within the earth, a terrible cry issued forth, affecting a profound change in all manner of life. We were not exempt. Our creation magics ran rampant, giving shape and form to thoughts of hopelessness and despair. At first, the phenomenon was limited to a single region, but quickly, so very quickly, it spread and engulfed the whole of the star. Alright, I'm going to give you guys a bit of a jump cut. I'll just have to remember to jump cut this bit. Alright guys, again, as I always sit there and say, if I have to do another jump cut, I apologize. I might have one more.
Were the ancients ever able to deduce its source?
They were not, however, the convocation struck upon a method to predict where the next corruption would manifest. The player guide? The etheric energies which flow through all of creation in the form of various currents. The currents which course through the lands and seas. Those which flow through the very air. And those of a celestial nature which encompass both our star and this moon.
Celestial currents. I cannot say I am familiar with the concept.
Nor would I expect you to be. Few scholars of our time knew of their existence. Their invaluable knowledge helped us to better understand the nature of the calamity. Like the terrestrial ones of Earth and air, the celestial currents form a vast network, but the ethereal distribution is not consistent. The convocation soon realized that the inciting incidents occurred in regions where the flow was weakest. Correlation without clear cause. Ultimately, nevertheless, on closer study, a stagnancy of ether was observed in nearby currents.
And so they sought a means to harness the forces of darkness, of activity and growth. Thus was Zodiac conceived. No less a power than a god's could set right the laws of nature and quicken the flow of ether within the star.
Precisely, with the advent of Zodiac, our end was averted.
Emmett Selk claimed that those who summoned Hydaelyn did so because they saw Zodiac's power as a threat. Is that true?
Indeed, there was a faction opposed to Zodiac's creation, but their aim was never to unmake him. They understood the continued preservation of the natural order was dependent on his very existence. Until we could identify and address the underlying cause of the final days, he would need remain, or for his departure would set in motion those apocalyptic forces once more. Hydaelyn recognized this as well, and so rather than destroy, she sundered Zodiac, herself, and the star into lesser reflections, that she might confine him in this place. I could have sworn she beseeched me to banish the darkness. Then what she told me in the Theater Sea was false? Perhaps she did, but as with all beings, intent is not always in accord with spoken word. Hydaelyn and Zodiac are both constructs of man, approximations of perfection limited by our own imperfections. Zodiac was without question the more powerful of the two, having been born from the sacrifice of half of Aetherius' population. Thus was as for Hydaelyn to commit herself wholly to his defeat, still more effort was needed to confine him. Maintaining the brand's texture greatly with what power she dared spare, she cried out to any who might listen and offered her blessing to those who heeded her call. Though it was likely within her power to do so, I believe she did not wish to speak of Aetherius's and her history. Like Zodiac, Hydaelyn's purpose is a reflection of her creators. They wish to look to the future, not linger in a prison of the past.
The Ascians set in motion 7 rejoinings before we came to oppose them. How many more worlds would have been lost had we not placed our faith in her? How many more souls living in the present would have been snuffed out for the sake of those long dead?
Well, in light of recent events, I see no reason to doubt your words. And even if Hydaelyn is not a god in truth, if Minfilia believes that we should trust in her plans, then I choose to do just that. Which brings me to a rather important question. Let's suppose we try but fail to stop this second coming of the final days. Should the source fall, what will become of the other worlds?
The nomenclature... Oh no. The nomenclature is more fitting than you know. Bring ruin to the source, and its reflections will share in its fate. He's thinking of Reen. Ah, it is ready. This way, if you'd be so kind. Hmm? A beautiful sight, is it not?
Yes, but what is it?
Hydaelyn knew better than any that her power was not absolute. Indeed, she has ever struggled to hold Zodiac and his faithful at bay. She feared the worst and so made preparations. In the event of his demise, there would be a contingency. What? This moon is more than a prison. Oh, I didn't even get to read it. I didn't realize there was something I couldn't... that was going to do it automatically, but at least from what I've seen, it's a safe harbor, so it's the final contingency plan in case he died. In fact, I should be happy to take you to them. And fulfill my final duty as watcher in the dock. Alright. Oh, I like this weapon. Keeping that. Actually, wait a minute. Can I glamour it? No. No, I can't. I'm assuming I'm talking to the Watcher. Yep. Orange. I should very much like to hear one more of this extraordinary story. The moon is a ship. Well, now I've heard everything. May be true, but others will struggle to believe it. I can scarcely believe it myself. Long last, the Watcher's Radiant fills final duty. Time has come for you to be on your way. The crater at the heart of Mare Leontrum, where Zodiac was imprisoned, is not so easily traversed, however. Let's call upon Argos, familiar you met earlier. He should have no trouble bearing you across. Silent created me as the Gaoler, so did she create Argos as the guard. It is in his nature to appear when needed, and yet he is nowhere to be found. Strange, mayhap the imbalance of ether has affected him. Let's make for crushing brand and attempt to call upon him there. You need but recall the path you walked with Argos before, and you will find your way. If he labors in service high on this plan, I see no reason not to do as he suggests. Shall we make for the crushing band then? This is freaking cool. Well, I'm just jumping down. Screw this crap. Whee! So is it down here, or is it on the far side where we last seen him? Let's see. Far side. Strong side. Who is it far side? Can I fly? Oh. This is really... I'm wondering where this is gonna go. Because if the moon is supposed to be a ship, in theory a ship, that is designed to keep the people of Eorzea, as we know it, alive, in case of a major calamity of the final days like we already have suffered, what is it going to be doing? Is it going to be designed as a we leave and go to another planet, or is it a we fight until the end? Because the thing is, with the fall of what do you call it? Eorzea, well, at least that's how I'm going to call the planet, because that's the name that we learned from it. Is that if the source falls, it collapses, it's going to lead to the collapse of all the shards. So the first will collapse, the 13th, where the void's at, I'm assuming will result in a collapse under its own nature. So, if all those fall, and they fail, where do we go from here? Because without the ether and everything, it's kind of like, where do you go? Do we just survive on the moon on those ships? Or do we do what Midgar Somer did, and try to find a new star? A new planet to go to? I'm very curious on how this is going to get approached. Alright, our friends are here. With little preparation, it might be possible to traverse the gap on foot. Then again, it would be a long, long way down if one would slip. Perhaps another time. Naught could prepare me for the boundless beauty of Eorzea, shining, shimmering amidst a sea of stars. Blue sapphire, one could count of other jewels, brimming with life, no doubt. So close and yet so far, does not the harsh terrain remind you of somewhere we've been before? The dry forelands. Aye, a place that rejects the intrusion of outsiders where solitude reigns supreme. At the very least, it sounds suitable for Zodiac's prison. I'm too far away from him from here, goddammit. The place we seek is just ahead of the Chlorigorst. I have no idea what that just said. You see, Argos cannot manifest without sufficient concentrated ambient ether. You would be hard-pressed to find a greater confluence than inside this cavern. Follow me. Is there another... Whoa. Bestoway's Borrow. Okay, there's an enemy there. So I'm going how far in to find him? There's the Watcher. I'm just gonna run like a bitch. I think if I go this far in, they'll leave me alone. Entire cave is thronged with ambient ether. Alas, any further now, so we'll have to wait. Curious, this path doth call to mind Pla Ene, home of the Numo. Guard of Zodiac's prison, eh? Blood-red eyes, slavering maul, and built like a behemoth? I imagine. Let's hope he's friendly. It's a puppy dog. Here, here will do nicely. Lunar Sponjoy draw ether from the ground, which is then dispersed in the air. At present, however, the ambient energies are not quite sufficient for Argos to manifest. Might you be willing to spare some of your own to help the Sponjoy along? I go over here. Yay, puppy. Argus transferred in a flash. He seemed glad to see you again. Most fascinating creation of Hydaelyn's, would you not agree? Should the need arise, he is even able to create reflections of himself on a whim. Though I assure you it was no reflection which accompanied you earlier to the brand. No, Argus was quite eager to be at your side then, as he is now, it seems. I cannot recall when he last showed such an affinity for anyone. Indeed, I thought him more likely to shy away from you and your companions. Perhaps it was more than a sense of duty that compelled him to aid you before. I get a puppy. As for your companions... Unexpected, but greatly appreciated. I believe we are all ready. Now let's return outside that you may cross the chasm. So I get the real Argos, everybody else gets the reflections of them. Pog. I get real puppy, everybody else gets false puppy. Pog. This is neat. I like this. I like this a lot. So we're going back to the chasm. The chasm. That is so freaking cool to look at. Hey look, another person who has the collector's edition, Poggers. Alrighty. Orion Jade, who would untrust command of so grand a vessel, I wonder? Expecting something a little more intimidating unless man's best friend. Dalmud has been long described as a loyal hound of Menfina due to its relation to the Greater Moon. It seems highly improbable, if not possible, for ancient peoples to have known of Argos, but now I wonder whether there is some connection. Argos favors you with what could be described as a conspiratorial grin. Spiratorial. Destination is a structure there across the Cradle of Darkness. But climb on Argos with back and it will take care of the rest. Once you arrive, it should not take long to find the ship's crew. The facility is designed to rouse them from their slumber in the event of Zodiark's destruction. Either council, together you may guide the star and its people to a kinder fate. This will require ways, but know that I shall ever be watching and praying for your success. Worry not for me, real though I may appear as you and yours, I am but a part of this moon. Creation of Hydaelyn, entrusted with the memories of an acquaintance long dead, but not forgotten. My charge of Zodiac has ended, but so long as the moon exists, I shall not want for purpose. I shall remain ever watching, ever praying for your success. Real grin. Ah, okay, so he did. Our allies' assurances will notwithstand, we cannot be certain what waits us on the other side, so perhaps it'd be best if we did not go at once. I propose the two of us cross first, while Thancred and Orion wait here. Onward, puppy. I got a puppy. A malefic ether yet permeates from the crib, round up to Zodiark most like. Jesus, that looks amazing. Oh, player. Oh, they're doing, it looks like they're doing camera work, so they must be taking pictures just a little further. Ooh. Wait, you're telling me we couldn't run down here? There's literally a path to run down here. Oh, that's the ways burrow, so there is a thing to attune to over here. This structure is enormous, though it is hardly surprising given the size of the average armoritine. Apologize for the wait. Right, then let us head inside and oh. Do I get, does real Argos get to stay? Do I get to keep the real pup? What is intriguing? It means what you can conserve energy may have. I certainly wouldn't want him to blink out of existence on our account. How full has he been? Thank you, ours will take things from here. Stay here, we're safe, alright? I say thank him. Fargus is remain without, let us not keep him waiting for long. Bye, buddy. I got your popper. Alright, let's sprint, baby. Oh. Oh, I'm not gonna bug Argos, so... Oh, maybe he can fly you to and from. Whoa. Wow. Is that the... Is it down below? Oh my god! Alright, I like you. I like this a lot. I like this a lot. Scales reminiscent of armor, or rather the wreck play we visited on the first. Truly marvel beyond description. Hell yeah.
Our moonship pilot should be around here somewhere. Is that right?
What the hell is that? What the hell? Is that a mouse? That is cool. Savenya, toss a bitch.
Look lively, everyone! I know, this 1243rd inspection is a mite ahead of schedule, but it is of the utmost importance, for Zodiac, alas, is no more.
I am watching this and all I seen was Clone Wars right now.
As of now, our mighty moon has a new purpose: to bear the people of Eorzea to safety. Our time has come, my friends! We must be swifter than swift. There is much to do before our guests arrive. I expect your workstations to be immaculate, and don't forget to relay our signal to Eorzea. Questions? Yes? No? Maybe so? No? Then hop to it!
Are these supposed to be bunnies or mice? Bunnies. Baby bunnies?
Tis a rather curious crew she hath chosen. Their endearing forms intended to ease the passengers' hearts, perhaps.
They're gremlins.
Perhaps.
They gnaw on bitches' ankles. I don't trust them. Fire yards reading somewhat flimsy, but the crew seems amicable enough. Even in present crisis, Hydaelyn doubtless sought to facilitate cooperation between pilot and passenger. Indeed, would require hard as a diamond to raise one's voice in anger to be beings possessed of such profound sacredity. I have no idea what that word is. It's a new word. They must be Laboratoris mentioned in the Watcher's records. Not at all what I expected, but the Watcher did but us heed their counsel. I assume the one that gave the rousing speech was their leader, though we might have to ask in order to track them down. Come on then, let's be about it. I just jumped down. Oh my god, thank the Lord. Laboratoris all appear to have said about their tasks. Whether there is their leader, I wonder. Whoa. This is neat. Can I already attune to this and I can just end the episode now? Please say I can attune. I don't want to have to keep coming back. Wait a minute, how much does it cost? Oh, I can attune poggers. Alright, I think I'm gonna end the episode here though, guys. This is a lot to take in. A lot to take in. Holy god. I want to know how this is gonna go. I need to know more. This is cool. I like the fact that Hydaelyn prepared a backup plan like this. I feel everything she's doing right now, this is how my mind works. It's like, plan for everything that's unexpected. Zodiac dies, prepare an escape route. She seems to have been pretty prepared and ready to help anybody that can. My only problem with it is this. I want to know whether we are putting our faith in her. Thancred said he's putting his faith in her because of Minfilia. And we hope that what she's doing is all for the betterment of us. But I still have a semblance of doubt that is still, like, etched in my head, where it doesn't know if he can fully trust her still or not. But nonetheless, we get to a point of the game where I'm kind of intrigued where this keeps going. We've already beat Zodiac. Well, Daniel killed himself. Now we've reached a point where we're now on the moon, and this stuff is really amazing. I want to see where this keeps going. Unfortunately, though, we do got to end the episode, guys. We learned a lot, seen a lot, did a lot, seen a lot. So I'll see you guys. Is Past Demon give you the same outro as always? So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Alright, everybody, this is Demon telling you goodbye. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode of Endwalker. Again, I probably won't get too lucky and have too many, like, openings, because there's going to be so many people playing Endwalker, so, I'm doing a custom little outro for it this time around, so, as I always sit there and say, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys then. Thanks.